Hi, friends. Happy Friday. This week has gone by so quickly. Let's see. Let me get to where you all can see what I'm building. Here we go. So this week has been Toy Story week. We've been having a lot of fun. We built the alien and the lots of builds over the last 2 days. And today we are continuing on with our Bookends set that has the incredible Slinky dog. Love, love, love this minifigure of Slinky. And I'm excited that bag 3 starts to build out the large brick built character, which, as you know, I love brick built characters. And so I'm very excited to dive in. So this bag was very satisfying to open, as you knew instantly that you were going to be getting to this adorable character. So let's dive in. How are y'all today on this lovely Friday? Let's see. I want to see two. I want to make sure that my AirPods are connected. Whoops, that's not it. That's AirDrop. Bluetooth, AirPods, perfect, awesome. So it should be playing from AirPods. Good stuff. So yeah, how are you all today? What's going on? This is the set that I was most excited about for the build, or for the Toy Story builds that are coming out, but also one of my favorite characters from the shows. So very excited. Hi, Ben. Welcome. Happy Friday. How are you? Oh, I got your text yesterday and I clearly did not respond. So apologies on that. But I did see it and I appreciate you reaching out. Things here have been a lot of fun diving into these Toy Story builds, but also just like getting used to getting back into our time zone again. So never fun to deal with jet lag, but it's not been too bad. So have you met me? I do that all the time. And I appreciate that. Just sorting Pokemon cards. Yay, Toy Story. Good stuff. I love that you're sorting your Pokemon cards. I finally opened up my French ones and had a good time kind of doing my own version of an unboxing that I filmed, but I need to actually share of that. It was really fun. It was neat to see which ones came through. And one of the things that I love is all of the names for all the characters are so different. So I have to do a little bit additional research on some of them to figure out which Pokemon they are and how they connect with some of the other ones. But yeah. Yay! Hey, Mail! Streamers for life. Love it. How are you, friend? It is your late evening, early morning, early morning, if I'm not mistaken, right? I feel like whenever you join, I'm like, oh my gosh, you must be exhausted. But I think you live a different time zone, or a different life than the rest of us in terms of when you get sleep. And my hope is that you do actually get sleep eventually. But I'm happy to have you here. Good stuff. Let's see. Can't wait to see that. I really love the Japanese ones I got last weekend. That's awesome. I saw I think it was the picture that you sent me, that you had a bunch of unopened bags, not bags, but packages. Is that right? It wasn't like specific Japanese cards that you got, but it was the unopened ones. So if that's true, I'm curious if you've already pulled them and gone through them. So much fun. Let's see. All right, this is an interesting build so far. We are using these like Technic axles and the Technic bricks to create kind of the inner portions of what I'm assuming will be, let's see, I'm thinking this might be his tail because we do have this part in here already, and that part is for the tail. So I'm guessing we're doing the back side of him, and that we'll work our way up to the front with the head, but we'll see as we continue. The books, the teal book at least, I really enjoyed building out the process, or building out the whole book yesterday and seeing the way that they approached doing the pages inside, so that the bookend, or the hardcovers to the books stick out around the outside edge. I thought it was really impressive, and a different approach than I was expecting. I've built and designed my own books like that before, but it was nice to do it in a way that's a very different build technique. So one of the things I love about Lego is there are so many ways to get to the end product. And I feel like each time I build something like this, I learn another new approach that I didn't think of before. So really cool. Love the sweatshirt and matching mug. I'm glad you noticed they match. So, of course, had to have You're Simply the Best for my coffee today as I was wearing my Rose Apothecary shirt. So, love Schitt's Creek, such a wonderful show. And have recently been seeing a lot about Dan Levy's new show on Netflix, and am really excited to eventually watch it, but haven't had a chance to yet. It sounds really intriguing. Let's see. You've gone through them all. You have no chill. I love that. Kind of same. I really struggled wanting to open them up in France, but I was like, A, they're going to make it home more safely if I don't. And B, I wanted to like film the unboxing of them. And truthfully, the filming of the unboxing, I was like, I don't even know if this will be entertaining to anybody. It's just entertaining to me, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, as soon as I got home, it was like the very next day that I finally went and did it. So it's on your list, the show. Yeah, same. It is on our list as well. We've been watching The Comeback, which is really fun. And we started from season 1 because we hadn't seen it. So we just finished season 1, started season 2, and got a handful of episodes in already in prep for the new season that just released. Very funny show. Lisa Kudrow is fantastic. And perfect for the role. I feel like it was just custom made for her. And the second, what'd you say?
By herself.
By herself? What do you mean?
Well, she wrote and created it.
Oh, Philip said by herself because she wrote and created it. So that makes sense as to why she's perfect for the role. It's interesting because the second season is a lot more serious than I was expecting it to be. It's still very funny, but there's a lot of deep emotions and things that are happening in it that I was like, oh, wow, they're going to some other places. So I don't know how much energy I have in me right now. That is totally fair. I mean, it is super late/early for you, Mayo. I feel like usually when you join this, then you're eventually like, okay, I'm going to go sleep now. It's like 5 a.m. So I get it. If you need to go rest for sure. But yeah, The Comeback is a great show. I definitely recommend. What is it on? Is it Hulu? HBO Max. HBO and HBO Max, says Philip, which is helpful. Yeah, in the States. So not sure if and how it's accessible elsewhere. But yeah, since we've got some new folks today from earlier this week, I'm curious to know y'all's thoughts on the Toy Story sets. Are these ones that you're excited about? If so, which ones and why? Are you not excited? And that's fine. I was thrilled to hear that we were getting some new Toy Story sets, and very, very excited to see that all 3 of these have been brick built characters. It's just been so much fun to start working through these. And I was thoroughly impressed by both of the first 2 sets that I did, but especially by Lotso. I did not expect to love him as much as I do, but that was a really impressive build. So let's see here. Whatever HBO is calling the same box this week. Yes, right? Exactly. Who knows what it'll be called next week? I feel like that's been kind of a laughable thing of the name changing over and over and over again. It's watching the past seasons of The Comeback has been interesting because they were filmed 10 years ago, and then the second season was, and the season before that was filmed 10 years before that. So basically 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and now. And the cultural references and such, just, it's fascinating to look back and think, wow, A, I remember all these things. So that reminds me of my age. And B, just a really interesting approach for the show to have seasons split by 10 years. It'll be interesting to see what this newest season feels like too, once we get around to watching it. So
What reality television was like at each of those phases.
Oh yeah.
She's doing a reality show.
Philip was saying too, he's in the kitchen over here, was just saying how interesting it was too to get a sense of like what reality TV was like at each of those different decades too, and how that shifted and changed over time as well. So given that the comeback is really about a reality show, really fascinating, such an interesting concept, and something that was like, it's meant to be a very silly, goofy show, but there's a lot of heart to it and a lot of depth to it that is beyond what I was expecting. So kudos, Lisa. Good job. I feel like I can't just call her Lisa. That feels weird.
Lisa Kudrow's.
Kudos to Lisa. Yeah. Kudros. Kudros, Lisa. Good times, good times. I'd love a bing bong from Inside Out. Yes, that would be fantastic. Rye still has their Lotso that smells like strawberries. I love that. On the inside of Lotso, there's a hidden strawberry, and I thought that was a really smart move. Hi, Missy. Welcome. Happy Friday. I almost said Wednesday. Thankfully, it's not Wednesday. Happy Friday. Welcome back. It's good to see you again this week. We had some good chats the other day about Pokemon and such, and Ben, who's on here today, Lego Fan Boba, and was talking, actually texted with me earlier this week about getting some Japanese Pokemon cards. So it'd be fun if y'all were all kind of in the same area. TGIF, oh my gosh, yes, that is a fun throwback as well. Oh, we were talking the other day. Oh, it was a John. Philip and I were texting back and forth with John because on, let's see, today's the 17th, so 3 days ago on the 14th, which was Tuesday. Is that right? Is that how math works? I think so. I think it was on Tuesday, was the inaugural International Buffy Day. And that was because it is Sarah Michelle Gellar's birthday. And John and Philip... Philip says, I'm trying to convince Hulu to bring back the show that they just canceled, that they were bringing back. So, which is, yeah, kind of the root of all of it. Hello, Bev. And yes, I agree. There should have been scratch and sniff strawberry stickers instead of just the little tile in there. 100% agree. I think that would have been a fun add-on that is a missed opportunity, Lego. Missed opportunity. But yeah, anyway, we were texting with John, and we were texting about like what shows did we watch as kids, because I didn't watch Buffy at all, and I couldn't remember a lot of the shows that I watched, so I had to Google shows from the sitcoms from the 90s and cartoons from the early 90s, and it was just interesting to kind of go back through memory lane and be like, oh yeah, I forgot all about these different shows that existed and shaped my childhood, but like kind of just forgot all about them. I think a big part of it too was I was in theater and music stuff, and so I was very, very busy in the evenings a lot of times, and so didn't necessarily watch a ton of TV, but I did watch a lot of movies because I worked at the movie theater. So movies, I think, are a little bit more core memory for me because of the amount of time I spent in the movie theater during high school in particular. So anyway, I mean, I don't know if your house is like mine, but we like never had control of the TV unless no one was home. Totally fair, right? It's interesting to see like where, how different families' experiences with media and that kind of stuff shapes the way that people experience what they grew up with and what they experienced as well. So yeah, Philip and John both shared that love of Buffy and that history of watching Buffy. And John was saying that I think he said like he was able to watch one show a week. And so he chose Buffy as his show, versus Philip was saying like he watched a few other shows as well. So there was more variety there for him, but Buffy was still very core for him. So now Philip has us watching Buffy. We are, I want to say 7 episodes into the first season. We'd watched, I want to say like 3 previously. But of course, with it being International Buffy Day, he made sure that we watched a little bit of it the other day. And yeah, so now we're, I don't know, maybe 7 episodes in. it's so important to him, and it was something that he loved. So something that I must love too.
Every gay should love it.
He says every gay should love it. I think there's some truth there too. There is a cross section of the queer experience and Buffy the Vampire Slayer for sure. So not every Buffy fan is gay, but every gay person is a Buffy fan. No, I don't know if that's true. So good times, good times. This is interesting. If someone were to show me this cross section of this build, I don't know that I would have been able to pick out what it was going to be. It's not very intuitive yet, and it'll be interesting as it comes together what actually happens. Let's see. Never watched Buffy. Yeah, same, Ben. Ben's never watched it either, so I'm not alone.
That's why he's not gay.
And then let's see, I was able to slightly adjust my cowl to meet BDP requirements, changing the 2x2 rounded corner awning piece that hasn't made it to yellow in its one plate shorter form. So be on the lookout for it. Yay! That is very exciting. So if y'all don't follow our friend screen name Alphonse, oh my gosh, it's hard to see, Alphonse Soup Person, Sean, right? Is that right? Anyway, definitely go check out his builds. Really, really good stuff, and really interesting and creative builds there as well. But yes, very excited to see what happens with the May BDP. And knowing it's always fun when you know someone who's like entered some builds into it. So fun. We just wrapped up the April build challenge. And so I shared in my Instagram stories all of the builds there. Yay. Awesome. Thank you, Sean, for that clarification. Bev also never watched Buffy. Same. It never was. And Mayo as well. Philip, you are the only one here. And you're not even here. You're there. Yeah.
Not my people.
He says, not my people. I'm your husband. I think I'm your people. I'm fairly certain that you can't get rid of me that easily. And if that's all it was, then I'm surprised we're still together after almost 16 years, y'all. Isn't that wild? Time is like, phew. Ben says, take that back, Philip. Yes, agreed, right? Ben, you are Philip's people too. So
There's still time. Still hope for you
he
all.
says there's still hope for us all. Oh my gosh, go away. We love each other, I promise. Okay, so this is really weird. This is really weird. This is also, we were talking about this yesterday of like the experience of like, this is odd. Why are we doing this way? I don't understand what this piece is for. And then all of a sudden you hit a magical point where it makes sense and you're like, oh my gosh. This is so cool. And that's, yeah, we're getting to that point. I think it'll come soon, hopefully. I believe this is going to be the backside with the tail and everything. So we'll see once this becomes something. But right now, it's just kind of a weird blob of parts. Bev says, hi, Philip, and hi, Penny. Oh, and how is Penny? Penny is doing okay. She is thrilled that we're home. She had a wonderful time with her aunt and uncle, Jonathan and Beth, who took great care of her while we were gone. And she only had some challenges there, but was very kind to them, which is good. And they were obviously very kind to her. We are so grateful that they're in our lives and that they love Penny so much. So yeah, she was relieved when we got home though, because she just got to go back to her routine back in the house. And she's tired because she's tired all the time now. But she seemed extra tired when we first got her, which of course makes sense because it's a lot of a lot to experience to all of a sudden go from one house to another for like 10 days. It was a very long time. So major shout out to our incredible friends who took care of her. So and Jonathan is a medical professional, and with they had taken care of Penny during the Denmark trip as well, during about half of it. And so they'd been with her once before, but that was before she was on a lot of the meds that she's on now. And so it's like, hey, y'all, so we have a whole new situation with Penny since the last time you hung out with her. And I was nervous to tell them all the things because I was like, I feel like it's a lot. And it was just wonderful that Jonathan was so soothing and was like, I got this. It's fine. And Beth was like, it's wonderful that he, that he has this background because it's like it gives her peace of mind too. Like they're both fantastic with pups. But it was also just nice to know like someone who's in the medical profession knows exactly what to do and is going to be totally taking care of our girl. So she is doing well. Thank you for asking. We've loved getting to spend time with her again. And she's been very cuddly since we got home too, which is nice. So how was Paris? I'm assuming Eiffel Tower. Any highlights? Paris was incredible. We had the most fun ever. We spent lots of monies. It was a very expensive trip, but we knew that going into it, and we've been planning this for a few years. We just had a ball. Like it was so much fun to explore and do all kinds of new to us things. Philip had been once before for a work trip, and so he'd spent basically like 48 hours exploring Paris, but not really a full vacation. And we were able to just fully disconnect from everything and enjoy life. We had a really, really good time. So thanks for asking. Lots of highlights. The Eiffel Tower, of course, was a big one. I shared a story yesterday, I think, or maybe it was the day before of, wait a minute, why does that not fit in? Oh, this isn't pushed in all the way. Anyway, I shared a story of us building the brand new Paris City of Love architecture set from our Airbnb that we were in for the first half of the trip. We had a breathtaking view of the Eiffel Tower from our balcony, which was incredible. And every single night, we would be back in the Airbnb in time to watch 2, if not 3, or on some days 4 of the sparkling. So it's lit up at night. But every hour on the hour, starting at, I want to say it's like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then on the weekends at midnight as well. The whole thing sparkles for about 5 to 7 minutes. And it's so beautiful. And so we made sure that we had the opportunity to spend time in there and really thoroughly enjoy that experience. So gorgeous, gorgeous views, but wonderful, wonderful travel touristy type things. Highly recommend the city to anybody who loves art and architecture and French food, pastries. Oh my gosh. Bye. Good to see you, Mayo. Thanks for joining. Hope you get some good rest. And yeah, it was really, really wonderful. My favorite thing that we did was we went to Giverny, which is probably mispronounced right now, but it is where Monet lived and where he created his gardens that he painted. So every bit of his paintings came from of the paintings that people know him for. Which of course are the water lilies paintings. All of that was from these incredible gardens. And so we got to experience that in person, and we went to 2 museums that had a lot of his art on display. One of them, which is the Orangery, has 2 rooms that are like oval shaped, where the entire wall all the way around is 4 pieces of art that all connect, so that it's basically one 360 painting. Just it's interrupted by doorways on those 2 sides. And there are 2 rooms full of it, and it's just stunning. So that was by far my favorite experience of the trip. But we did a number of other things that were all wonderful. So really, really cool. That would be what I would say is the highlight for me. We also did like so that was a day trip because we had to get out to Giverny. And we did that combined with a Versailles day trip as well. So we could quickly see that. I would say that was, I'm glad I did it. It felt like a checkbox though. It didn't feel as exciting to me. So I'm thrilled that it included the day trip element out to Giverny too. So yeah, that would probably be what I would say is the primary highlight, but we had so much fun. Yeah. And it was for our friend's birthday. And so a lot of our itinerary and plans and everything were really centered around her and all the wonderful things she wanted to do. And I would say that while that sounds like we were on her trip, That's not really true. We were on our trip. She was very open to our ideas and suggestions and wanted to make sure that it was something that we all enjoyed, which was really fun. And we just had a really wonderful time. We traveled with our best friends, Sean and Marianne, and they're our travel buddies for a lot of things like this. And it was just really, really delightful. So great to experience for sure. I loved it. And also, we were there for such a long time that it was also so nice to get home. And I love that when that happens, you know, where you're like, you know what? I also love where we live. I love our home. I love being able to spend time with our family here, like all kinds of good stuff. So, okay, this is really interesting. So we're using these clips that I see as like robot arms inside here. And then we've got the clips here. And that is clipping in a really odd way. What's interesting is it tells us to clip this part to this part first and then to click the white ones in. But I honestly think it's going to work better if I click the white ones in first. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I don't know. Actually, no, they're right. Just kind of hard to adjust it. There we go. But yeah, okay. So that creates a really interesting placement that I'm guessing that's where the tail is going to pop out from. So, fun. But yeah, we got home and it's been about a week. I think we got home a week ago Wednesday. So jet lag is mostly gone, which is good. And okay, now this is making sense, y'all. This is his rump. Wonderful placement for the tail. I love how this definitely looks like the starts of the legs. So we'll see the rest of the legs come out here. And then we're going to get some pieces here that finish that off and that start to do the spiral of the Slinky part of this too. So cool. Okay, and then we've got all of these, which I like to call gingerbread pieces because it's the color of one of the gingerbread minifigs that Lego has come out with. A lot of people are more familiar with this color of the gingerbread, but there's also one that's the darker color too. And I like that because it looks like two different skin tones of gingerbread people. And I love to have both of them together in our winter village each year, which is fun. So I've decided there's a gay couple gingerbread and they're multiracial or interracial gay couple of gingerbread men in our winter village. And then we have the other couple that's the gingerbread mom and dad with the kiddo that comes with the larger set, the gingerbread set for the holiday winter village. So that one's also another family that shows up in the winter village too. So all right, here is the back section. Now we're going to start on the, what do you call this? The spring that goes in the middle. I mean, I guess it's a spring, but it's a Slinky as well. And this will be interesting. I haven't taken too close of a look yet, but I am curious to see how this is going to work. Oh, they did it right. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm curious on your thoughts with this as we get it going. I'm curious what you all think of how this comes together because I have opinions. I have a Slinky Dog keychain that I need to find. It was one of the random things that like I had in this box of stuff that my parents dropped off for me to go through at some point. So I think it's out in the garage somewhere. But I would like to find it to see. And I also want to compare this, of course, to the movie version. So we used a bunch of droid arms for some benches with snowboards and some snotted archways built for a walkway that could have lights wrapped in there underneath for the Indianapolis Brick World Galactic Mall. That is really fun. I love to see when people find like a creative part use for something like that. Where another actually really interesting example of that is there's droid legs that are like the R2-D2 style of droid that are used in I think it's either the lights or the planters. I think it's the planters, and maybe fencing on the Tudor corner. And that was a really interesting part usage too. So I think everyone on this feed currently would know this term, but I always like to explain it anyway in case people join and aren't deep within the afol community. So afol first is adult fan of Lego. So that'd be adults like us that like to build with Lego. And then the term that I was going to use is NPU, which stands for nice part usage. And so what our friend Sean just talked about, using those droid arms with a really interesting way to create those benches and things, and the snowboard for that as well. That would be what we refer to as nice part usage, because it's something that maybe it wasn't designed for that, but it's a really cool and interesting way to use it. So, the more you know. Okay, I'm going to flip these. The reason I am flipping these is because on these curved pieces here, you can see there are little tiny divots, little itty bitty divots that show up on one side. And if you flip them the other way, they don't show up. And since I want to be looking at this from the head to the tail, I'm going to arrange them so that all of those little divots are facing backward, so that when I'm looking at the character a specific way, you don't notice them. That is a little mini pet peeve of mine, but I like to do that in a specific way. So here's the first coil. And let me flip this one as well, so I can make sure those are backwards too. All right, we've got the first two halves on here. So we're getting started with the coils or spirals of the Slinky. Also, I had a pole Slinky dog that was on wheels. I remember buying it, and I remember being in middle school and feeling a little embarrassed that I was buying this toy because I thought I was too old for it or too cool for it. Look at me now. And it had like the pole rope and wheels on the feet. And then it had the Slinky, but in the center of the Slinky, from the back of the torso to the back of the torso on the backside, front to back, it had like a piece of fishing wire that would attach them so that when you pulled it, it would pull the full thing, as opposed to just pulling the front part and having the Slinky stretch and stretch and stretch. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I did. Okay, here we go with this next portion. And for those of you eagle eyes out there, I'm curious if you know what is going to bother me about this set. Oh, shoot, I did it again. Need to flip these this way. And I want your thoughts on this and on if you think it should bother me or not. Okay, so we got these coils so far, right? We're going to finish those coils off and make perfectly round circles. And then once we get to a stopping point, it should be able to connect to the book. Hello. Hi, Hector. Good to see you. I believe this will be connected to this teal book for the initial way to build the set. And then you can change it so that you just have Slinky Dog completely separate from the books, or completely connected to them. So I am going to build it first connected to the set, and then I will undo it to show you the different options that are there too. So Hector, are you on lunch break? Or free for the day, for the weekend, possibly? Not to call you out. I'm just curious. Glad to have you here. It's okay not to like something in the build. Thank you. I agree. Absolutely. And I'm so curious to know if any of you will guess what it is that I'm not going to be excited about with this build. Once I looked at the pictures more yesterday, was like, no. One of the things I was really excited to see, like, I wonder how they figured out this specific thing. I realized that they did a workaround and didn't figure it out. So those are all the hints I'm giving. I'll let you weigh in and see if you can figure out what it is. Okay, so we have this. This is like creating the rib cage, kind of. This one, and this one. Ta-da! So we have those coils, right? I feel like I want it to bounce, and it doesn't really. Then it's not a complete coil. Ding, ding, ding. Bev, you're absolutely right. Yes, it is driving me bonkers that they went with this approach that isn't a spiral or coil that keeps going, but it's individual rings that are connected with Technic pieces. Now, I will say, oh, this is fun. Here's the tail. Okay, enough playing. I will say, this is going to look fantastic. Like, I think it's going to look great, and I don't think it's that huge of a deal. But I'm just going to keep wiggling the tail. I don't think it's that huge of a deal that it's not a complete coil visually. Like, when people glance at it, they're not going to notice, right? However, and for stability purpose, this makes more sense. So I get that. However, this is not what a Slinky is. A Slinky is a coil that goes woo, and it makes noise like that. It's magical. But it spins, right? And it keeps spinning from one end to the other. And at this end, it's open. And on this end, it's open. Because then you can do this. And it makes that noise too, of course. And that's how a Slinky works. It does not have solid rings that are side by side. So that's the one thing that I'm like, come on. And also, this is more stable and it's fine. It's not a big deal. But that was one of the things that I was really most eager to find out how they did it. And it just slightly disappoints me that they didn't. And that's okay. So there are my 2 cents. I'm going to leave this here so that you can see the tail bobbing up and down as I continue to build with bag 4, which is the front of the head. So, right, that's a con to me. That's one of the like, not a huge deal. I still think it's cute. I still think it's fun. And what tipped me off to it yesterday, because like many of you know, when I get review sets and build them, I like to try and build them fresh from like open the box and just have the build experience, as opposed to like looking ahead and seeing what's neat and interesting in it. I kind of like to just experience those things as I'm building it. So I don't do a ton of research in advance for a lot of them. Sometimes I do a little bit more. It depends on the set, but for the most part, I like to just kind of be surprised and wowed by it. Oh, same, cool, yeah. Like for me, like that's part of the fun. Which also then I get is a reality of like, other people may not be interested in watching me build live because they want to experience it fine on their own. And I get that too, like totally fine. Anyway, with that, I didn't know if and how that was going to work out with the spirals. And yesterday when we opened the set and saw the adorable minifigure, if you notice, it does the same thing. It's all individual discs connected with one long piece in the middle, as opposed to a coil. And I'm not complaining. I'm not super mad about it, but it's not my favorite. So I do wonder if they tried. I assume they did. And I think what probably won out, if they had these conversations, which again, I assume they did, what probably won them over to doing it the way they did was stability, which again, that's something you have to think about with builds. And that's something that LEGO thinks especially about with builds, because they make sure that certain things are as perfect as possible, both with playability, stability, posability, long-standing interaction with it once it's built, all that kind of stuff. And so they have to take into account a lot of factors. So yeah, let's see. It's not complaining. You review for a reason, so do your opinions are valid. Thank you. I agree. And yeah, totally. And I agree with everybody on like, you're open to have your own opinions, and also no one's opinion is wholly right either. Like, we're all open to having our own interpretations and perspectives. Sean says, just uploaded on Discord Beyond the Bricks of the mall, the NPU and the final product. Yay! Awesome. Looking forward to seeing it. Hi, JJ. High five. Good stuff. Nice to see you. That's JJ, right? I'm like trying to see the screen name from over here. All right. So let's continue building. It looks like we're diving straight into the head. So I think bag 5 will be the legs for all 4 sides. And bag 5 will probably also show us how to either attach it to itself or attach it to the bookends. So, or the books to make it a bookends. So I am just loving this. It's so fun. Okay, cool. Yes, I thought so. I was like, maybe I can't read the screen name from here though. For some reason, the gray font, the way that my screen is set up, it's probably because it's on dark mode. But the gray font that I see for screen names is like just dark enough that my eyes don't want to see it clearly, which I'm not realizing, or I wasn't realizing until just now. And that makes me wonder if I should switch it from dark mode to light mode. I hadn't really thought of that until now. So, okay, so interesting build techniques that we saw for the back. We're doing the same type of thing with the front so that we can attach basically these Technic axle pieces. And that's what attaches I'm just going to keep calling it the coil, even though, as we've established, it is not a coil. The springs, right, for this piece. So, y'all, I think it's so interesting how YouTube videos, like, of course, live on for as long as you keep them posted, and how some of mine will randomly pop off, and I'll be like, why are people all of a sudden watching this again? And it's usually when people have a hot take that they want to share. And what happens is I'll get that hot take shared by like 3 or 4 people, and I'll respond to them on their hot take, and then it'll kind of stop. And then like a month later, the same thing happens. And I'm like, why did this just pop back up again? So just today, or just yesterday, a whole bunch of people found my review of how the Arkham Asylum modular fits with the other modulars. And when I did that video, I just was like, here are the ways that it works with my modulars in my house on my table, like showing people what we can do with it with our modulars. And the interesting way that everyone is an expert and needs to share their expertise and show you why you're wrong, it's just funny to me. I'm like, why is this so important to some people? But so many people have been like, you're wrong. It's actually supposed to be like this. This is how it was made to be posed. And I'm like, you're not paying attention, because what I was saying was, here's the different options that we can use to pose them with ours. Like, which is true. Here are the builds that I have, and here's some different formations of how it can work together. But one of the things that people pointed out was like, oh, in the trash can in the back of the modular, there's an extra part that you can attach on the front that then allows you to attach it a different way, which was true. And it was something I didn't know. So I was like, oh, great. Thanks for letting me know. The number of people who come to that to comment about like, actually, there is a piece in the trash can. And I'm like, yep, you're right. There is. I learned it from others who came here to say that. And I didn't actually learn it again from you, because I already know that now. So I just think it's funny. And it doesn't bother me. Like, it may sound like I'm complaining about it. I just think it's funny. Like, I think it's just a little laughable how that happens quite a bit. So, and also just like, why did that all of a sudden pop back up again? That's the type of stuff that doesn't make sense to me. Like, was Batman in the news? Was Arkham out there again to where people are looking for it again? Like, what is it about it that made it just like show up in people's feeds again? So the other one that pops off quite a bit is I have one that shows, here's all the figs from the Wicked sets. And it's the video from a year and a half ago from the first round of Wicked sets. And it pops up all the time where people are like, oh my gosh, I love seeing all these together. And I'm like, oh wow, like this is so random that this is like all of a sudden in people's feeds again. And it's a year and a half old. And I even did an updated video that was like, here are all the new ones from the new sets. And that one no one cared about. So like no one has seen it, which is fine. But it just, all of the algorithms are confusing. All of that stuff makes no sense to me. I just don't get it. So some people are just happier when they can argue about things. Truth. The number of people who like that is their jam. They love to go to people's videos and prove that they know something better than somebody else, or prove that their opinion is more valid than other people's. That kind of stuff I just find usually really laughable, depending on my mood. Sometimes I can be like real mad about it, but for the most part, it's like, this is funny that you care so much about this. And that you don't understand how to engage with people in ways that is open to, like, allows for interpretation and allows for others' perspectives to live. The other thing that I'll hear a lot is complaints about the price of Lego. And I found and learned, if I don't complain about the price of something, then people assume that I'm fine with the price of that thing. And I'm like, I don't know why that's where your head went. And also the way that I do my reviews, it doesn't focus on price. That doesn't mean that I think that they're fair priced or not fair priced or whatever. It's just that, like, what I like to focus on is, here's a really cool build technique that I learned from this. Like, and that's also one of the things. Lego doesn't want every single reviewer to do the exact same thing. What's the point? Obviously we all reach different people, but like, they know that like my community is smaller, and they know that my community focuses on build techniques and mocks and people who are new to the community, and helping people learn and grow in their build styles. And they like that. That's why they picked me, which is really fun. But that means that there's not a blanket expectation then from Lego that I do a review in a certain way. They're fine with me building this live with you and talking about the sets and complaining about the coils and all the kinds of things, right? But people are kind of like, also the word review, Lego has pushed back on that recently. And so they stopped calling them review sets, and they are calling them early access sets, which I appreciate because it makes more sense with like what I do with them. I get them early access before they're on the shelves, and then I do what I do with them, right? But it's not exactly a review every time. So, but that said, like, while that language matters and makes a difference, most people don't know that Lego changed the way that they talk about that internally on the LAN. Like very few people have any awareness of that, and it doesn't affect how, if someone hears I'm a Lego ambassador, then they automatically assume, oh, so you do Lego reviews, right? I'm like, I mean, I do, whatever. So yeah. Bye. Tell Rye hello and big hug, big hug. So let's see. I missed something. Some people are just happier. Yeah. Bev, I really liked your entry for the mini lander challenge, by the way. Yes. Isn't it cute? I was really impressed. I loved it. And I loved the way that you used, I think I just had the part in front of me. It's probably already in the build, but the piece that has the circle to have the open mouth, I thought that was such a cute and clever way to show surprise from your character, and then also using the two different eyes that you used for you and then for Missy looking out the window. I thought that was really adorable. So kudos, good job. And also, JJ, thanks for bringing that up, because also this topic, I would rather talk about that. Anyway, but yeah, they wouldn't. Also, they wouldn't say it to your face, just keyboard warriors. Yes, that's the other thing that I think is funny and sad. Like, I wish that we didn't live in a society where people felt emboldened to yell at strangers online. When I remember seeing an ad campaign at one point where it was like showing somebody walking through like regular life and screaming the things that they would say to people on Facebook, to people's faces, and just showing how awkward and uncomfortable that would be. And the whole point was like an anti-bullying campaign. And I really loved how it was kind of exposing, yeah, those behaviors are really weird. Like, why have we allowed ourselves to move in that direction? I also saw a really fun video that was doing the same type of thing, but it was doing it in reverse. So instead of like yelling at strangers, it was like, I like your outfit. I love your outfit. Like, thumbs up and like that kind of stuff. And it was kind of teasing about like these reactions that we give each other online, but it was also talking about how, why do we feel so comfortable saying those comments like in that sense, but we don't do it in person? Like, wouldn't it be more fun if we were just like as open about like, hey, good job, that's really fun, I like that, in person to people? And how different would our world be if you told people what you liked when when you saw them or whatever? And I just thought, oh, that's so cute. I like that concept. Speaking of which, JJ, you just exhibited that by saying, "Hey, Bev, I liked what you did with your build." So that to me is like, I mean, obviously you're writing it, you're typing it, but still you're in a format that's live and that you have a chance to share that directly to her and, somewhat to her face, which is fun. So I love that kind of stuff. Um, and that's also why I think I was drawn to education as a profession, is like, I love learning and growth. And I love, one of the things I really enjoyed working with my students on was learning how to give constructive and positive feedback. Because some of our students would be really adept at giving positive things, but not good at knowing how to give constructive criticism. They would either sugarcoat it too much, which was always my problem, as well, or they would say it in like such a not nice way without intending to. It just was like they didn't know how to deliver that type of feedback to people. And so I really enjoyed helping people understand, here's what type of feedback is actionable and helpful. And that's stuff I ended up doing in my full-time profession as well. When I would work with managers, like training them on how do you address performance issues with employees that aren't doing great? How do you help employees that are learning and growing gain what they need to out of what they're learning, by asking helpful questions and thinking about like, what's a good way, or what is helpful to praise someone for versus what is not helpful. So, and what was interesting is I was training managers on all this stuff, and I worked in a department that like we were all involved in the training in different ways, and we got a new employee, and I was talking to her manager, and I said, "Oh my gosh, she's great," and that manager said, "Awesome, what makes her great?" And I loved that she asked me that question because I was like, "You are turning my training on me." But I really appreciate that because she wanted specific actionable feedback that she could pass on to that employee, to say, "Hey, you're doing these things really well, and I heard it from Justin in these different ways. Kudos." And it was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that type of help to get it right." How do we help others improve and grow and learn where their strengths are too? Um, you know, anyway, lots of rambling today. Thanks. It's a true story. Missy is always catching me doing something I shouldn't. I love that so much. It's good that you have a Missy in your life, Bev. I think we all need a Missy in our lives. So I thought it was a really cute story. And I like when people build from personal experience. I think that's really fun and clever and adorable. I've been thinking about what am I going to do for the build challenge for May, and trying to come up with like, what do I want the tutorial video to be? Because I need to make that for y'all very soon. If I want it out by the 20th, that's just a couple days away. So yeah, one of the things I was considering though was like different ways of storytelling or different ways of coming up with ideas to build and such. So I think I have one tutorial. I have two tutorial videos in mind that are a technique. And then I have another idea of tutorial videos that relate to like storytelling, which is a different type of, it's not the physical building necessarily, but it's more the creative thought that goes into it. So I'll be interested to see, as I roll out some of these other tutorials and stuff, how people respond to them, as well as what, if y'all have opinions on what you'd like to see in those prompts moving forward. Yeah. So I love reading captions, and I feel like the way that I approach social media is probably not the way that a lot of people do. And when you see tips on like how to grow your social media and whatever, I violate a lot of those rules because I tell long stories and I like to go into detail and depth on things. And I want to share more context with people about stuff that maybe they didn't already know. And there's a lot. And so it's like all the things that are like how to go viral or like make it 7 seconds or shorter, write a really long caption so that people read it and get stuck playing the video over and over and over again. And I'm like, I'm not intentionally trying to do any of these things. My videos are always too long. They don't necessarily get people to watch to the end, all that kind of stuff. But also my videos are, they have depth to it, and people who do watch to the end, hopefully they get something out of it and get out of it what I was hoping they would. Like, some of that, some of the logic behind some of that, I'm like, I get and understand why, but I don't want to create that way. That's not what that's not the type of content I want to make. So, I also don't need a million people to see these different videos. Like, it's fun when you have something go somewhat viral, right? That's always a little exciting. But I would rather have it be that the people who actually watched and saw and whatever, that they learned something, that they gained something out of it. So that's partly from my wordiness, partly from my education background, I'm sure. But yeah. And no shade to people who do that other stuff really well too, because like it's just a different approach for sure. So okay, we are making his face and it's super cute so far. I'm loving the shape. It's looking to me like this will be face up. Is that right? Maybe not. Maybe this will be, no, yeah, I think this will be face up. So I'm guessing the eyes are going to go here and that the mouth will be like coming off here. And I don't know though, actually. Or no, because his head comes off of like another spring type thing. So his head's going to come off here. Yeah, I don't want to look at it yet. We'll just keep building and see what comes together. Honestly, I wasn't interested in the Midlander, but how am I going to learn something new if I don't try? Then I really got into the story, laughing about it. It was so fun. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. And truthfully, I think that that's where the build challenges that I did, where I was using the calendar, and in 2023 when I did the daily one, and then last year when I did the weekly one, there were so many that I was like, I don't want to build this. I'm not interested in this. But I still committed to completing them because I thought, well, I said I would, and people are counting on me too. So like I have this extra motivation. But then also, more often than not, the things that I learned the most from were the things that I wasn't that excited about. And so that to me is like part of the motivation to keep pushing through when I'm like, I don't know that this is all that exciting to me. And I think that's where I encourage people to participate anytime they can with the build challenges. But that doesn't mean that you have to do every single month. So I would say, of course, feel free to always skip a month if you're not interested. But also, I would say if it's just that you're not interested and you're not that inspired by it, maybe push yourself to do that once or twice and maybe skip some of the other ones, and that's okay too. Just because you might find that, hey, it's a new build style that you never thought that you would enjoy, or that you learned something that is like brand new for you too. So hello, JC Studs. Good to see you. Welcome. We are making good progress on our Slinky dog friend. I love this tail. It's so cute. The first bag 3 built out the back side, and I'm on bag 4, which is building out the front side in terms of the torso. I'm guessing bag 5 will build out the head to kind of attach on. And then we'll find probably the ways to then attach them to the books to make them the bookends instead of attaching him just as the Slinky dog by himself. Agreed. Love Slinky. He's one of my favorite characters from the film series. So very excited that he's joining us here with this incredible bookend set. So, and I've been having fun so far. So yeah, anyhow, thank you, Bev, for sharing that. That it's, wasn't necessarily your favorite, but that you still tried it. I think that's something that I really enjoy pushing myself with that kind of stuff. And truthfully, having the build community is what has helped motivate me to make sure that I still push myself to do things I'm not comfortable with as well, because I feel like I made a commitment to you all, and so that helps me push through. And that's even as simple as like in 2023 when I was doing that build calendar, I made a commitment to share what I was building daily, and so I felt like I didn't want to let people down by giving up partway through. And that's a little bit of an extreme example because I don't think that it was necessary per se for me to actually finish that calendar, but I'm so glad I did. And it's something that now I can always say, hey, I did that. That's really cool. And I really did learn a ton from it. And had I given myself permission to just like skip ones I didn't like or whatever, I think I would have probably not completed the whole calendar for sure. I would have missed out on a lot of the things that ended up growing my skills. Plus, that was the year that I was on Lego Masters, and I learned a ton from that experience. And I think one of the things that I grew the most in was my ability to quickly think on my feet, and to come up with ideas very quickly. I think that was something that I was practicing with that I didn't realize I was practicing. But you get this prompt every day, and you have to come up with something. And just like in the show, you get a prompt, and you have to come up with something on the spot, and you have to dive right in and go. And I think one of the things that helped me improve my ability to do that was being able to, or that practice with this build challenge. Did I enjoy Paris? Did I ever? We had the most fun. It was really, really wonderful. If you want a quick glimpse into some of the fun we had, I shared a reel earlier this week, and on YouTube Shorts as well, of us building the Eiffel Tower Paris City of Love set at the actual, or with a view of the Eiffel Tower in the background, from our Airbnb, which is really fun. And I have, I think, 4 other videos that I'm making related to like Lego connected to our travels that I'll be sharing soon too, that show some of the fun bits that we had. So stay tuned for that, which is fun. So they'll be in the forms of like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. So yes, you were the first commenter on that short. Thank you. I remember that. I think I just saw that this morning, which was really fun. For some reason, that one did not get very many views on YouTube. It got more views on Instagram and more engagement on Instagram, which is fun. So well said. I definitely felt the same way. I was like, I don't want to build this. And after it was all built, I really enjoyed it. Yay. That makes me happy. I will also say there are some things that I'm like, I don't want to build this. And then I build it and I'm like, you know what? I still don't want to build this. It was not fun, and that's okay. And I think that's part of the whole learning process as well. So, the one example is I don't love building vehicles. It's just not something that I enjoy all that much. And so I don't gravitate towards those builds. And every time I build a car, I learn something. And so that's helpful. It is good motivation, but they're just not something that appeals to me right off the bat. But what I have found is if it's connected to pop culture, I will actually really enjoy it because I have some additional motivation beyond just the vehicle to pull me in. So like the Jurassic Park Jeep, I can't wait to build it. It's sitting under our table waiting for Philip and I to build together. And we're going to build it while we watch the movies. And for me, it'll be the experience that I really enjoy, plus the storytelling that comes with it. Or another example is the carts from the Mario Karts. Love those. And they're actually really fun and interesting to build. So I think to some degree, when I push myself to actually move forward with like completing those types of builds, I usually do find that there's something I enjoy about it. What I will say though is the smaller ones, like the Speed Champion scale, that don't necessarily have moving features and stuff, like the wheels turning and that kind of thing. Those are the ones that I find like, I really enjoyed the Batmobiles because they were connected to Batman, but I didn't necessarily enjoy the race car. That's just one of many other race cars. And there are people who are mad race car fans who would love that, right? And so that's fine. It's perfectly fine. All right. Another side with this trio of springs. And now we get to the pieces that will attach, I think, to the bookends, and potentially attach the head on as well. Looks like he has a green collar, I think. And so We've got some green parts too that'll go in here. But yeah, so these pieces are going to slide over here. And here, they're just some axles with a stopper on the side and a bushing in between the stopper and whatnot. And then here's for the piece that'll have the collar. You're using standard green. This part is going to slide over the yellow axle, and then we get the head, or the neck rather, and top it off with one of these parts that's going to let the head swivel. So there you have the first part of the build. Now, one option, if you wanted to, is you could connect them here and here, and that allows you to build the character, which is fun. I'm going to do that because that's what the instructions show, and then I'll show you how to take it apart later to attach it to the bookends. So let's put this on first, like it shows. And you know how I was complaining about the spring? I have to say that once I have this on, it does a good job mimicking the spring function. So while it's not a complete coil, this is actually really impressive. Put my foot in my mouth, y'all. I mean, I still would like to see the full spiral, but that's actually pretty cool. Like, the fact that this can flex, that's really cool. All right, Lego people in the sky. You win. Agreed, Batmobile, Ecto, DeLorean. I got 2 of the later at Costco, and now my local is sold out of them, but still a pallet of the other 3 cars. Yeah, right? Like, I really enjoy the cars when they are connected to a film franchise or a pop culture moment or whatever. And for me, building a Mustang, I don't have a Mustang. I don't have an attachment to them necessarily. I would probably enjoy the moving parts in that because it's a larger one. You know, that if you know the one I'm talking about, it's like the really large Navy one. But I don't know if that's something that I would be as excited about. All that said, though, like when I got the Vespa set, I was excited, and I don't know, I was interested to see. I didn't think I would love the build as much as I did, though, and it's one of my favorites. But there's other factors attached to that one, so that's a little different too. I don't know. All right, let's do bag 5 and get this dog a face and a head. We have some pieces of fabric in here. I think these will be the ears for our pup. Let's see. Yep. So we're getting basically like felt-like ears, which are going to be super cute. And got pickups. Going to add some more like dimension to the character and some movement to the character too that feels natural and feels toy-like, which is fun. It's funny to say that this feels toy-like when it's literally Lego, so that's technically a toy, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right. Okay, so this is cute in terms of the shaping that we're going with for the face. I like the base so far that we've got here on the underside, where we've got that like point going down in the middle. Yeah. This is really, really a cute set. Okay, and I love these parts that are like the parts that are curved in multiple ways, right? It's smooth and rounded, but then it also kind of makes the pathway around the outside too. Like those are real nice. Great finishing details for sets. All right, so this is where we're at so far. Interesting shapes. And then We cover this gray with some medium nougat tiles to make it all match. I'm wondering if this is going to be what like attaches here. It probably is like the underside of the face. That would make sense to me. Here's that page. Here it is. All right, so we'll flip this over. And yeah, it looks like this. I think this is going to be the underside of the head. And so what's interesting is we're building with studs down right now. And I wonder if we're going to flip the stud direction. I think we might, which is one of my favorite things to get to do in a build. So yeah, so next week, I will probably go back to just streaming on Wednesday. I need to look through what review sets I have to build and see what it is I want to get to. But I'll have to take a look and see. I know the Jeep, Philip and I said that we wanted to build that together, and we'll probably watch the Jurassic Park movies as we do. So that will be one that I don't build live, but I will definitely share with you my thoughts on it and show some cool pieces of the build experience. What else do I have? Let's see. I've got some Brickheads things coming up. I've got there was another set. I need to look back through and see what other sets I have. I know I have plenty of review sets to get to, so we'll find something fun for next week's builds. But yeah, this week I was like, I want to do a Toy Story week and get through all of these because they're really cool, and I figured y'all would like them as well. Plus, since I skipped the live stream last week, it was like, this is a perfect opportunity to catch back up a little bit and see y'all for multiple days. So, and I like that by doing it this way, I also get kind of different people on the different days since people have different availability for different things. So good stuff, good stuff. We were looking at the calendar today to figure out some of our plans for next year because my in-laws reached out about going to see a show at Georgetown Palace Theater, which is a local theater in town. We're going to go see 42nd Street. If any of you are familiar with that show, it's a wonderful show. And yeah, looking forward to that. But we had got tickets for Broadway Across America again, which are the traveling Broadway shows. So we needed to add all those in. And we have a friend's wedding that's coming up later this year. And looking at like Lego convention timing and everything, if that's possible to go to some other ones. And just like really hit me how quickly time flies and how it's just wild to me that we're already this far into 2026. Like, we're almost a third of the way through. Like, that's just wild. Time goes by so quickly. And it's just nuts to me. Like, how does this all happen so quickly? So anyhow, looking forward to whatever's to come through the rest of this year for sure. But I was very excited about like some of the shows though that'll be coming through next year. We have a good lineup for the end of this year, and then a really fun lineup for coming into next year too. So one of the shows I'm really excited to see in this year's lineup is Anne Juliet. I got a chance to see most of the original cast from the West End in the show a couple years ago, and loved it so much. It was become one of my favorite shows of all time. So very excited that that's coming through. And that's been the one I was most excited for this 2025-2026 year. And yeah, we'll get to see it coming up towards the end of the year. Okay, quick notes. So we created this. It's all upside down right now. I created this. This is the front of the mouth, and you can see the red is probably for the inside of the mouth. We're using some clips here and some clips here, and we're also using the studs here on the edge, and this is going to slide together like so, which is great because it has double the stability by clipping on here, but then also studding in down there as well. And then we'll create the rest of the mouth that's open, or that has the ability to open with the hinge from these clips underneath. But that also allows us to reverse stud direction. So you can see the stud side by side where it's like upwards and downwards. Using clips to reverse stud direction is one very clean and easy way to do so. So pretty cool stuff. So yeah, as I'm coming up with some of the new build prompts that we have throughout the year, if there are build prompts that you want to see, isn't that nose cute? I agree. Great use of that oval shaped tile. If there are some things that either you want to learn or that you've learned that you're like, this would be something that would be cool for others to learn as well, please ping me, let me know. That'd be helpful to get some input from y'all on what types of build prompts you'd like to see in the future. I want to make sure that it's a community that really enjoys continuing to build and grow, and that you find that you're learning some new things through each of the builds. So let's make it collaborative if we need to. So, or not if we need to, let's continue to make it a collaborative community. Here we go. All right, so now we built these two sides that are going to help us round out the face. So I'm loving how that's all going to work. Just very sleek. Ta-da! So cute. Yeah, that nose. Boop. Really, really cute. All right. So it looks like we're relying heavily on clips to do the reverse stud direction with this build, which is fun. So it's like this build is going to teach us multiple different ways to use clips to do that. And I love when I'm doing a build, seeing different ways to do different things. So this is just one way, but I want to show you. So we've got, of course, these studs here are open going up, and then everything behind it is going down, since that was from the reverse pieces. Now we have this portion where we've got clips on the side. This is going to connect here. So still, these are all the underside of the bricks, but the next pieces that we have are these, and they're going to clip on here and here and curve towards itself like that. And now we've got studs that are going up again. So it's just another great way to get us to start building upwards again. And that then helps when we're wanting to put on these like curved pieces at the top for the top of the head, where the only way to do that is to have studs going up. Like, really awesome way to do that, as opposed to Lego needing to make this into an inverted piece where the studs are coming out. Does that make sense, what I was just saying? I think it's really cool. Please no sphere. I built 3 and I'm trying to complete a 4th one, but it just won't go together. JK, you can still do spheres. That's really funny, because one of the options I was considering was to do a sphere. I have done tutorials in the past on how to build a Lowell sphere, which is the smaller version of them. And I have all the parts to do a tutorial on how to build a larger sphere using Bram's sphere generator, which I'll teach people about as well. So that was when I was toying with, but I actually wasn't leaning into doing yet. So no worries, but I promise you, you will eventually have to do one for the build challenge. It won't come up this time though. So I'm waiting until I have a mock in mind that could do that or could use that. I can always find a way to include it, but yeah. So yeah, I also, because people have seen that done or like use that technique somewhat recently, like I feel like I've seen some people do it recently, I wanted to give it a little bit more time before I introduce that. So something with gears would be cool. I think you mentioned that yesterday already. Yes. So something with gears is on my list as well. I want to, when I get to doing something with gears, I want to tell people with a little bit more advance notice so that they can get parts if they don't have them. Since usually when you're doing a build with gears, a lot of people don't have it in their stash yet. So I think as we get closer to that time frame of like when I want to do a tutorial series that includes gears, I'll let people know in advance. And I might even look to see if there's a specific set that I could say, buy this set to get these sets of gears to use. We'll have to wait and see kind of what comes up with that. All right, we built out this next section. So the underside is all, of course, the underside of bricks. Of course, I showed you how we flipped the studs here. Now this sits firmly on top, and we have officially made it where now the top is solid all studs. So we went from the underside of bricks to the top side of bricks, all using clips to reverse the stud direction. And that is such a brilliant and helpful way to get things to look smooth and rounded and beautiful. I love these techniques in particular. One month we will do reversing stud techniques as one of the build challenge prompts. I don't know which month that'll be yet, but that is one that I've been planning to do, and I wanted to be able to show a few different ways to do it. And my goal with that one, whenever we get to that month, and actually my goal with all of them, is if there's a technique like reversing stud direction as an example that we have in there, then I want people to demonstrate in their post how they use that technique. So if you just show a picture of this build and you say it has reverse stud direction in it, that's great, but it's not helpful for people to know how you did it. And so I want people to take maybe 1 or 2 photos of the inside of your build or of like the steps of your build that show where you worked that into your build. And that's more through the lens of like keeping this community educational, if you will, and helping others get the experience of like, oh, cool, I learned from JJ's build how he did it this way. I chose to do it this other way. Bev did it a different way, etc. So show your work, if you will. We're going to class, y'all. I hope you all don't dislike the elements of education that goes into the way that I think about this stuff. But to me, it's like, that's part of the fun, right? We're in class together. All right, so now we are building out some other rounded parts that are just kind of creating some of the places that'll be right behind the eyeballs, I think. So not quite the eyebrows yet, I don't think. But getting some different rounded pieces here and there. Although, here it is. Sometimes it's hard to find little pieces in your build. Okay. So yeah, so we've got some more rounded pieces towards the front, creating a little bit of like the top parts of the ears. And now we're going to build backwards this way. So remember how I thought it was cool that we had this little like piece sticking out on that rounded piece at the beginning? Now we're going to use a bracket upside down and backwards, and that's reversing stud direction at a 90-degree angle now too. So that's pretty cool. Another interesting way to change the way that your studs go. So I find it more complicated to completely flip the direction of studs than I do to like use a snot brick or a bracket to change the direction sideways. But doing a complete 180 flip, I think, is the piece that I find most interesting, since there aren't bricks that are designed for that already. What I mean by that is we don't have a plate or a brick that has studs going up and down at the same time. We just have it kind of in one direction or the other, versus you do have snot bricks that have a stud going up and out, right? So I really enjoy seeing ways to completely invert it 180 degrees. But of course, with all of these builds, for character building and whatnot, for the shaping, you usually do need to go in multiple directions, out and up or down. So important to learn both skills. All right. So we're getting more droid arms on the inside of here. Oh, interesting. So we're going to be using these droid arms to connect some triangular, what do you call these? These triangle pieces that have clips on the back? Triangular clip pieces. So that's an interesting technique. So you can see we've got that droid arm. It's connected to these black pieces that have the stem or rod coming down. But then we connect, instead of clipping something to the clip of that, we're clipping a clip onto the bar part of those droid arms, if that makes any sense. And then we clip these on, and I love that in the instructions it shows an overhead view so that you know what angle to put these on at. So let me get all 4 on first, and then I'll show you that piece. All right, so in this case, we're doing those triangles pointed downward, and then it shows to put it over this picture, and you can mirror or match the angle of the picture, which this is a little tricky. There we go. So that's how it's going to be, making like an X shape, and you can see the picture inside the instructions kind of shows that too. All right, so I think this might go on top. Oh no, this goes on the back. And this is going to help create the rounded structure of this. So now we're going to use these rounded pieces to go over. Oh, cool. So essentially we are aligning those triangles on to the middle section of these rounded pieces. And that's going to help us fill in the gaps so that it looks rounded all the way around the head as opposed to like having these big openings. So yeah, that's the total view once it's all put together. And then this will attach on the back like so. Okay, that's pretty sleek. It's really sleek. And then we will attach on the sides 2 of these guys. So for the left and the right side, we do this, and we put them on how am I doing this? There we go. Okay, cool. So we put them on underneath, and you can see that also matches where that triangle hole is. That's so cool. So well done. So well done. Good job, Lego. And then we do the other side as well. Oh, and then also we finish out the top part of that. So we put that on first, and then, okay, even better. We put these on like so. So yeah, it's like perfect spherical shape and like smooth and rounded, right? So what's interesting is what we could have done is just built this entire rounded piece to put on all at once as opposed to doing it in 2 steps. But doing it in 2 steps helps make sure that you put it in the right position because you want to make sure it's not too high up on the head or not. But that, y'all, very good job. Very, very well created, well shaped. Okay. Y'all, this is so fun. Oh, we get the ears now. Okay. It's interesting. The coloring in the book makes it look like these are black ears, but they are brown. And yeah, these are really nice. They're very soft and wobbly, which is perfect. And when we put them on, we're actually, this is interesting. We put the fabric over, so we put this yellow piece on, and then we put the fabric over so that the hole matches up with the hole on this brick, like so. And then to hold it into place, we use one of these pieces, like that. There we go. That holds it into place. Nice. And then you want it, it looks like, to go up and over the red piece that's hiding it. So when we put it in here, it's going to go inside. There we go. Yeah, so it just like flops right over. That's cool. Okay, nice. Ooh, and look. Yay. We get the perfect eyeballs. This is a fantastic job by the graphic design team. Great shaping, like ideal, exactly how it should be for this fantastic character, our friend Slinky. Okay. So let's do, whoops, let's see. Actually, I think I did this wrong because There's a fuzzy side to the ear, and then there's like a lined side. And the fuzzy side right now is upside down. So I'm going to flip those on this. What's interesting is it doesn't say anything about that in the instructions, but that makes sense. So you want the fluffy side to be pointing towards the brick at first, so that after you attach it in, when it flops over on itself, it has the fluffy side out. I'm sure you can't really see that detail on the screen, but here. So this is the fluffy side out. Here's the not fluffy side. So yeah, I need to flip this one. Cool. All right, let's do that real quick. Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay. Now this is really a great build. Also, JJ, just thank you again for quickly sharing some thoughts on what you'd like to see or not see in the build techniques. I appreciate that. I will say that there will be some months or where people will have to build something that they already know how to build. That makes perfect sense, of course, because we're all at different places in our abilities. And so in those months, if you want to hold off and not build, that's fine. I encourage you to still, because I think you'll potentially learn something new from that experience. But that'll be up to you all to decide as you get there. Yeah, and then there may be other months where we potentially partner with another build technique too. So yay, I'm glad you could see the fluffy side. Like once I got it closer, I felt like it made more sense. So yeah, you can see, especially with the light on it. And when you look at the underside, it's more flat, if you will. It's just doesn't have as much detail to it. So, all right, we did this, and we get the best part, the eyes. Oh my gosh, and he instantly comes to life. This is so cool. The eyes are the window to the soul. And then to top it all off, okay, this is great because using these fluffy ears, they sit perfectly inside here and they come out of the head perfectly the way that they should. Just the way this is built. Like that's, I'm so happy with this. This is so cool. All right, let's move on to the next piece. Y'all, one of my favorite people in my life, her name is Julie. She's one of my best friends that I worked with at my last job, and that's how we got to know each other at first. And then we were both involved in Leadership Austin and on the board for it for a little bit too together. We have not seen each other since June of last year. And I used to see her every single day because of work. And so she reached out today and we are going to get happy hour. And I am so excited to get to see her again. It's been way, way, way too long. So just had to share. Very excited to see her. She's a wonderful gem of a human. And yeah, and we have actually a Christmas gift that we got for her that we just haven't seen her since. And yeah, I'm excited to bring that to her as well. So I wrapped it in non-Christmas wrapping because why not? Okay, y'all. So cute. I think his mouth needs to always be open. While it could be closed, I think it deserves to be open all the time. It's more cute to have the tongue sticking out, right? And to finish it off, got to give it some hot dogs. Some black hot dogs that are burnt for the eyebrows, just like so. Let me adjust those a little bit and then I'll show you. So cute. And this is going to pop on here. And what I love is this brown piece has the divots on the, it has the divots on the side as well. And on the other side, it doesn't. And I was a little bit like, oh, I wonder which direction I need it to go. It doesn't matter because the ears flop over and hide it. So it doesn't matter which direction that is showing. So cute. Okay, really, really impressive. And just like the perfect wobbly. Like This spring action is so much more beyond than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to look like it, but not necessarily have the feel or vibe of it. But that's super impressive. It's making me wonder if the old school Slinky Dog toys actually have a coil, or if they have something like this. Now maybe I'm wrong about that, about the coil. I don't know. We're gonna find out though, y'all. We're gonna do some research and see. I think it's a coil. Right? I'm pretty sure. Like, that feels right to me, but get all these parts out. Come on. All right, we are almost done with Slink. And then we will move on to the purple book. Cold coffee. Yum, yum, yum. Which actually, this is a cold latte, so it's a little bit better than just regular cold coffee, but still not my favorite. Yay, I'm glad you love him too. Same Missy, same Bev. I think it's just adorable. Just simply adorable. All right. So we're going to continue on with, it looks like these are the paws, and it's showing that we do 2 of this one and then probably 2 of the other ones. So I think we're doing the 2 left side, the 2 right side. So I'm going to build them simultaneously to make this go quickly. Now what I need to figure out is what books we make sure get displayed together between the bookends, because everything must be curated. I have some Disney and Pixar books, so those are probably natural fits for this, but I'll have to go back through and see what they look like and how the colors match with the set as well, because that's also important, of course. All right. Usually when I do things where I have to do it twice, I'll build one and then try to build the other from memory. But this has a lot of parts in it, and I'm just not, my brain's not working fast enough to be able to do that today, I don't think. So feels been a bit of a long week, and I think that's just the jet lag talking a little bit. So give myself some grace and not worry about that today. Anybody have any fun weekend plans? Bev and Missy, I expect to see you tomorrow at our tech slug meeting. Oops. The bottom of the feet are pretty simple, but we're creating, we're creating 4 toes for each of these. So yay, you'll be there. Awesome. I figured you would. I figured you are both so dedicated to the group and so great about always showing up. So happy that I will get to see you tomorrow. I need to figure out what I'm bringing. I think I might just bring my build challenge stuff from the last couple weeks, or last couple months, because I missed the March meeting. So I don't have the seed parts. I might have them in my stash, but I don't know. I don't know that I have the energy to build another mock tonight. So yeah, I'll probably bring my builds for March and April, and then look through and see if there's anything else that I built that I could bring too. All right, so using these parts, these curved wedges, and creating these like little sections, we are creating the left and right side of the toes. And these are gonna go one on this side, another on the other side, like this. And then in the middle, we're gonna put 2 more sets of toes that clip on to those clips on, or to the bars in the middle. So that's actually pretty cool. So let me finish this second side and then I'll show you what that looks like. So yeah, so we've got basically like an open mouth type thing. So let's see. Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. Then we have grandson's basketball game. Sunday, we are sorting for Brick Rodeo. My dad and I will be watching a soccer match at our neighbor's house tomorrow. Cool. Then we'll have a barbecue after the game. Nice. Our clubs, ours and his club, are rivals. Oh my gosh, how fun is that? I love that. And I'm curious about that because often when we grow up, we inherit the teams that our families always watched as opposed to come up with our own. So how did you come up with your soccer club? That your or your football club, if you will, because that's how you actually say it. How did you come up with your football club? And I'm not correcting you; I'm correcting me because the U.S. way of saying it is soccer, but y'all say it the right way, I think. Yeah, what made you that fan? Mistake, no sort this weekend. Oh, that's good. Sometimes it's nice to have a weekend without sorting. I know there's been a lot of Brick Rodeo sorting parties lately. I haven't been able to go to any of them this year. We've been out of town or away or something going on every weekend. It's been so busy this year. All right, y'all. We made 2 more toes. Da, 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 da. They have clips. And 1 clips in here. And 1 clips in here. And that's so cute. Oh my gosh, I like that it has like the perfect amount of space between those toes. That is such a clever build technique. Really impressive. Let's do that again for the other foot. And then we're going to do it again for the other 2 feet. 2 more times. The left and right pieces of this, I actually think might just be for the next steps that create the bit of leg that goes up because 1 leg curves this way, 1 leg curves this way, right? But we'll see. But if that's the case, the way these instructions go could have even been more simplified by saying build this 4 times and then build 2 left legs, 2 right legs, and attach them. I'm always interested as to why they make the decisions they do in terms of things that have to be built twice like that. Especially because it could save them on printing with the papers. But I don't know. They clearly know what they're doing. Where's the clip? And actually, looking at all these parts, we don't have enough duplicate parts to make all of this again. So I'm wondering if maybe it's not 2 left legs that I'm building right now, but maybe it's a left and a right. Maybe I was wrong all along. All right, we have the other foot built. Cute. Now we get to this next part where we attach the legs onto it. Okay, I grew up as and still am Werder Bremen fan, hence my PFP. What is PFP? Please forgive me. Because my dad is a fan too, but I also follow Holstein Kiel because one of my favorite players switched to that club a few years ago. Both are clubs from northern Germany, where I'm from, so I can sometimes go to the stadium and watch games there. PFP is, profile picture. Thank you. Yeah, that is online lingo. My brain did not think computers with that. My brain was thinking that you were talking about soccer with that, or football, excuse me. Nice, that's fun. That's really cool. I really enjoy a healthy rivalry, right? I think that can be a lot of fun to have with your fam. So good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so now we will finish out these. What am I doing? Sorry, y'all. I'm very distracted. I was trying to position this. Ow. I was trying to position this so that you didn't see the divots, but I don't think it matters in this case as well. Yeah, so we're doing front legs. So I was wrong with what I was thinking here. We are doing front legs all around, and it doesn't matter which way these face. Okay. Here we go. So attaching the legs here, like so, which this works because I have the divots on the insides potentially. The feet kind of go curled up like this, which is fun. And I like they curl out instead of curl the other way. Do you or Philip watch or follow sports? We do. It depends on the year. We followed some sports more than others on different years. But my brother-in-law, Philip's brother, works for the NFL. Or worked for the NFL previously. Now he works for a company that owns a stadium where the Atlanta Falcons play, the football team. And so what we call American football, I should say. But yeah, because of that, we followed the teams that he was working for. And we both had our own teams growing up. So I grew up in Colorado. And in Colorado, we had the Denver Broncos, which was my football team growing up, my American football team growing up. And then we also had my favorite sport growing up was baseball. And I played baseball, basketball, volleyball, and soccer growing up as a younger kid. But baseball was the one that was my favorite. My team was the Colorado Rockies, and that team actually started in 1993 when I was 10 years old. And so, first off, that's my age, being super obvious here with that. But before then, we didn't have a professional baseball team. And so I was born in Southern Illinois and moved when I was 5 years old. But my family grew up in Southern Illinois. And so because of that, their baseball teams growing up, they followed the St. Louis Cardinals because that was closer than Chicago to Southern Illinois. And so I was a Cardinals fan, and then I became a Rockies fan because the Rockies were formed when I was 10. But being a Cardinals fan is still kind of in my blood as well. And then in grad school, I lived in Boston for a summer. And so I became a Boston Red Sox fan because that summer in Boston was so formative to my growing up as well. So when I think of baseball, I would say I am a Rockies, Cardinals, and Red Sox fan. But I would also say I don't follow it all that closely anymore like I used to. But I really enjoy live baseball games. That's one of my favorite summery, silly things to do. And it's something that we haven't done in a number of years. So we need to go back and do them again. There is a local minor league baseball team in Round Rock, which is just north of Austin. It's about a half hour from our house. And they are the Round Rock Express. And we've gone a number of times to their games, which is a lot of fun. So maybe we'll go again this year. We've gone with our in-laws the last couple of years, which is fun. And yeah, that's been something though that I haven't been to in a long time. So anybody going to Brick Rodeo, the location for Brick Rodeo is across the street from the Round Rock Express Stadium. So fun little fact there. So you'll see it if you're in town for that. But yeah, I would consider myself a baseball fan. Basketball is one that I've never really watched all that much. It just didn't appeal to me all that much. Even though I played it as a kid, I was really young when I played. So I didn't enjoy watching it on TV. Soccer or football in general is one that I love watching live. And we now have Austin FC. And we've gotten to go a number of times to the games there, and I really, really enjoy those. So I've become a fan of our team, the Austin FC, and really enjoy those games when I get a chance to go. And my friend Julie, who I mentioned earlier today, she has season tickets. She's a huge fan of Austin FC and invites us to go occasionally. So the times I've gotten to go have usually been with her, which is a lot of fun. But we've also had games for the U.S. team and both the men's and the women's divisions at the soccer stadium, or the football stadium, if you will. And those have been a lot of fun to go to as well, too. So long way of answering, but yes, we are fans of sports. And in the past, we watched more than we used to. When I was in college, also, I got really into hockey. And that was a lot of fun. And it was just because my fraternity was into it. And so we all really enjoyed watching hockey together. And we would go to a bar and watch it together every time. So that was another one that I got into, but haven't really kept up with as much. So we did go to a hockey game recently, actually, with my in-laws. They got us tickets to go with them to see the Austin Stars, which is our minor league. I think it's the Austin Stars, right? I think so. Anyway, it's our minor league hockey team. So that was fun to go to. I enjoy live sports in general. I think they're a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun going to the NFL games when we had a chance to in the past, because that was something I didn't get a chance to do growing up. I went to one Broncos game, and I remember thinking it was so cool and wanting to go back, but just didn't have the money to do so. So it was really fun when we got to go to some of the games because Russell worked for the Texans for a while. So now he's with the not with the Atlanta Falcons, but with the stadium that owns the Atlanta Falcons, or that where they play rather. And his job has been more focused on the customer experience going to the stadium, which is really interesting. So he went from working more for the team and the team experience to the customer experience. So, all right, y'all, he's so cute. I love that his whole body can wag and his tail can wag, and his legs are posable, and the front legs are bigger. The front feet are bigger than the back feet. It's interesting because the back feet just has 3 toes, and that feels a little odd to me, but I think it was designed that way to make them look a little bit smaller than the front ones. And I just think this is a really, really cute build, and much more impressive than in terms of the way that it moves than I was expecting it to. So yeah. All right. I'm going to take a quick stretch break and get some water, and then we will move into the purple book, which is Knick-Knack, which is super fun. So let me just get over here, get some water. And while I'm in here, I'm curious to know in the chat if any of the others of you watch any sports, and if so, what teams you follow. It's a great question, JJ. So a fun fact about the stadium where Austin FC plays, the colors for Austin FC are green and black, which is beautiful. And the stadium is called Q2 Stadium because there is a tech company in town called Q2 that sponsored it. And Ben, our friend, Ben Brick Films, is working on a big version of the Q2 Stadium out of Lotso. So he's made a great one already, but he's making an even larger one now. So, all right, let's move Slinky over here. We'll move this book over here, and we will dive into the last few bags. So we got 3 bags left, bags 7, 8, and 9. And I think the purple book is a little bit taller than the teal book. So if that's the case, then it would make sense that we have 3 bags. I love that they went with these non-traditional pinks, purples, teals, navies, as opposed to going with just classic red, yellow, blue for these. I think if they made brick-built books that were red, yellow, and blue, or red, yellow, blue, and green, I think it would have looked a little bit too much like primary colors and would have maybe felt a little too cheesy, or too little kid-like. But for starters, I'm sure this will be the first thing that we build in the bag. We are building our little friend, Woody. I love that we're getting another version of him as a minifig. I will have to compare him to the other ones that we have of him, because I'm not sure what faces we have that work for him. But this one is great. It gives that like swagger of Tom Hanks that he provides for Woody, which is wonderful. If we flip the hat around, you can see on the backside the other face, and of course the very important pull string so that you can get his voice box to work. So really, really cute. Love this. I do think that they could have used dual printed feet for those legs to have boots on. So that's one minor complaint that I think they could have improved upon. But also I get that those things are pricey. So they have to think about where the cost is going in the set for sure. And my guess is this build is going to be very similar to the other build of the other book. The difference will be probably just in how it opens to reveal Woody. I think that might be the only major change that we're going to notice, but we'll have to wait and see as we go together through this. JJ, do you get a chance to see your team live often, or are the tickets really expensive for the games? I know here, sports tickets, especially for Major League Sports, tend to be quite pricey. And so it's not necessarily easy to go all the time. I think the baseball tickets are a little bit cheaper just because there are so many games that you can go to that they, there's not a lot of people that go to every single game, very few. So I know families that had season tickets to the Rockies growing up, and often they would take us to use 2 of the season tickets when I was little, and and I think season tickets were a little bit more affordable back then, but also because of the volume of games, the prices were a little bit cheaper. Season tickets for things like football are much, much more expensive because there's fewer games, of course. So that makes it harder for people that get a chance to go. And we luck out with being able to go, or we have in the past, being able to go with our family who worked there. So that helps for sure. But I've heard season tickets to Austin FC is actually not too bad. And I have a lot of friends that get the season tickets in that often are ones who reach out and are like, hey, we can't use the tickets this month or this week or whatever, would you be willing to go or interested in taking them from us? Sometimes they're free, sometimes you pay them. Totally fine either way. I appreciate that people are willing to offer those up when they can, though. That's always fun. And truthfully, I would say that we're casual fans, like we really enjoy it, but it's not something that we follow along so closely that we need to be the ones that get the tickets. Whereas like my friend Julie, she was so involved in making sure that Austin even got our own FC team. So, people like her are the ones that the season tickets are designed for. So yeah. And then our previous company that we worked for together, where we met, was a big sponsor as well. And so we had some tickets that we could give out every month or every game. And we would rotate through which employees were able to get them, which was really fun. And I actually never went on behalf of the company. I helped out a lot with making sure people got the tickets, but I don't think I ever went on the company's dime. So I was asked often to help make sure that people could get a chance to go, though, which that's always fun to be like, oh yeah, I'm on the hook to make sure that everyone else gets a chance to visit, but not necessarily me. So let's see. Brennan, not so often. Fortunately, they have too many fans. Kiel is 1 division lower, so it's easier to get tickets there. Gotcha. Planning on going more regularly next season. Nice. I love that. Hopefully you'll have a chance to go more regularly. And yeah, when there's so many fans, it can add to both availability of tickets, and then of course that usually increases price of tickets too. So that can be tough, but also you want to go to the ones that are like, hey, this is my team, of course, like that. It's such a different experience to go to a sports arena for a team that you really follow and love versus just like the fun of going. When I lived in Miami, we would go to see the Marlins. They used to be the Florida Marlins. Now I think they're the Miami Marlins. But we used to go to see them, and I remember being like, I don't care about the Marlins at all, but I like baseball, so it's fun to go. but different to go to that versus to go to a Rockies game or a Cardinals game. So, and I could still be just as invested in a team that I wasn't all that excited about. So, as long as it wasn't a team that I was against, like the Chicago Cubs. Grr. You have to be a Chicago Cubs enemy if you are a Cardinals fan. Just like you have to be, if you're a Yankees fan, you can't be a Red Sox fan. And if you're a Red Sox fan, vice versa. So there's that. What's funny is growing up, when I was involved in musical theater, I had a friend of mine buy me a Yankees hat because they were like, we know that you love Broadway and theater and that's all in New York. And, you know, this hat is all about New York. I was like, yeah, but it's also like a Yankees hat. Like it's a specific team. And I didn't really have an affinity towards them necessarily, but I did wear that Yankees hat because I thought it was really fun, that it was a gift, right? And then I moved to Boston and I became a Red Sox fan. And I was told that under no uncertain circumstances am I ever to wear the Yankees hat again. I can only wear the Red Sox hat. And I was like, okay, that's fair. I get it. That's fair. So. But the fact that I've worn both a Yankees hat and a Red Sox hat at different times in my life, I'm sure would make a lot of people really angry. I also think it's just funny to me how people get so invested in sports teams, especially people who've never played the sports themselves, but they're just invested in watching it. Like, how is that like so important to you that you will run a friendship over it, or like a relationship over it, or, you know, not be able to communicate with someone who's the opposite sports team? Like, just interesting to me. But also, like, I'm competitive to some degree, but not like to a major degree. So sometimes I just don't understand that level of competitive nature either. So I find it fun to like root for a team that others are not rooting for, and, you know, be the underdog and whatever, just for the fun of, like, for the sake of it. Like, I remember when we would watch the Super Bowl growing up, I would always pick a team that I was like, I'm gonna root for this one because why not, you know? And I just enjoyed if I was rooting for somebody that was different than somebody else, just for the fun of it, you know? But it wasn't like I actually care about this team winning. It was more like, oh, I want to root for somebody because we're watching the game. So what, you know, why not throw my name in the hat for with one team in particular, whatever. And it'd be, I mean, it'd be different if my team was in the running for the Super Bowl, right? So, all right, done with bag 7. Pretty standard boxy build right now. Creating a little window that I think will be where our little friend hides. So we'll see once we get to that point, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen there. And making it relatively hollow so it's low. It's not a heavy boxy book once it's finished being built too. So another set that I got recently that I requested from Lego for review is the Star Wars logo, and I requested it so that I could do it for Star Wars Day. So that'll be one of my 2 May the 4th builds. The other build is the C3PO that I requested after being on Lego Masters and being compared to C3PO by my partner in crime, John. So I was like, I have to have this. It's too cool. It's too much fun. So I will be building both of those for my May the 4th fun. But what I like about the Star Wars one is there's like little hidden pieces of that too that open up. And we also have, Philip and I bought the Marvel logo that we need to eventually build as well, which this will be a good year to build it, given that the new movie is going to be coming out. But I like how both are designed with like pop-out compartments and things. And it makes me want to like toy with this set even more to make more pop-out compartments for other characters from Toy Story. I think that'd be a fun way to modify this set. All right. JJ, when you say that you're having a barbecue after the game, what type of food is in your barbecue? It's an interesting question because I grew up saying, hey, let's have a barbecue. And what we would eat is hamburgers. And then I moved to the south of the United States and was taught and told that a barbecue is barbecue pork, typically, not a hamburger. And that is called a cookout. I was like, oh, interesting, because where I grew up, it was called a barbecue. We just used that phrase for it. And now that I live in Texas, I would also say here, when people say they're having a barbecue, they are not talking about hamburgers. They are talking about they are having barbecue, like barbecue meat. And often here it's brisket or beef too. So different than when it was pork in South Carolina. But when I hear barbecue, I still think of like hamburgers and hot dogs, which, again, people here call a cookout. So, right. This is just like stacking bricks on stacking bricks on stacking bricks, and it doesn't feel all that exciting to me right now. But I know once I get to a point of like where the hidden features go, that'll be fun. All right, here's a fun little hidden detail in here. We are stacking. I wonder what this is for. These might be the little army men, but we are stacking 2 green on top of a tan and then on top of another green. And that's going here on the outside or on the inside of the book. But I'm curious as to why we're doing that. So is that meant to be a hidden army man? Which it could be, but the army men in the movies were all solid green. So the only reason it's like maybe it's Rex. I bet this is meant to be Rex, actually, because I think Rex has a little patch of tan on his belly. What do you all think? Which do you prefer, Myers and Elgin or Southside and Elgin? Missy and I love Myers. I have been to Myers, I think, and I don't think we've been to Southside. So I don't know that I can weigh in on both. But that's a good question. We often eat, okay, Rex, right? Like, I think that's probably Rex. That makes more sense to me. Which I hope there's more hidden details of different characters in here. There is another little tile in here that I'm excited to show you, but I'll wait until we get to the point of being able to show you what it is, because I want it to be a fun surprise. All right, I think this is going to be where our little friend pops out. So that's going to go up and down. There is this little rod that's in there. That might be, he might hold on to that. I'm not exactly sure yet, but we'll see in a minute. But yeah, I think that's a hidden detail for Rex, which Rex is actually my favorite character from the Toy Story franchise. Slinky was my second favorite character. I still love him, of course, but my number one has to be Rex. I love that he is so full of anxiety. I think that's why I connected with him so much. I'm like, oh, you're just like me. I don't know where that fake Southern accent just came from. You're just like me. Let's see. Honestly, I don't know what we'll be having. He invited us and didn't tell us yet. Our family usually has sausages, beef patties, and fish, and then stuff like potato or noodle salad and roasted vegetables. Nice. All of that sounds delicious, and I'm also very hungry right now. So maybe I should not have asked you about food. We are going for happy hour to a wonderful place that is Tex-Mex that we love, that I'm excited about. So it's called Santa Rita Cantina. I'm sure that my friends Missy and Bev are familiar. I would assume, right? that y'all are familiar with Santa Rita, but that's where we're going for dinner tonight, for happy hour rather tonight with Julie. So it'll be nice to see her and to connect over a meal and give her a big hug. It's been too freaking long since I've seen her, y'all. I feel like I'm missing a part. Let me look at this again. Oh, I'm trying to just do the same thing twice, and I don't need to. Let me see here. What am I doing? So, okay, so I just do that once. This still folds down. Okay, yeah, I misread the instructions. Okay, here's another one. Huh. I need your help with this one. Is this Mrs. Potato Head, maybe? So this one is bright pink over medium nougat and then light blue or like aqua. What do you think? Wait, you've never heard of Santa Rita? What? Y'all, I have lived here for 16 years and it's a go-to place that we've been to numerous times since I worked at UT. That's really interesting. How fun. I feel like it's like an Austin staple, but that's just because I went there all the time. But I guess it's not. That's so fun. Where do y'all live? Are y'all north or I can't remember. I thought that y'all were north Austin. It's really good. It's they've got very spicy salsa. And so anytime I go, I have to make sure that I have a lot of water in front of me before I start eating the salsa because it's very hot, but I love it. You lead a sheltered life. I guess so. But also you've been like out to Elgin to those both places and like I haven't been out there. So Parmer and McNeil. Okay, yeah. Yeah, y'all need to make it out to Santa Rita sometime. It's so good. But also I need to make it out to Elgin so I can give you a better answer. Okay. I just found our reference to the Army Men. So not to worry, we do have them in here. That must be Mrs. Potato Head, right? Who else would that be? Let me show you the stack one more time. Got bright pink, medium nougat, and aqua. Santa Rita is like around 45th and Lamar, or like 38th and Lamar, I think. It's like right where Lamar and Burnett meet. So I think that's 38th. And it's just down 38th there. All right, so now we're getting 4 Army Men. This makes sense because they're tiny. 1 each. All side by side. Do, 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 do. And then we cover them with this guy. So yeah, that must be... It has to be a reference to Toy Story. I'm guessing it's a reference to Mrs. Potato Head because of the medium nougat, but I don't know for sure. Right? That's what I think. It has to be Mrs. Potato Head. I'll have to look and see. Okay, here's another one. Blue, yellow, and light bluish gray. Who is this? Who would this one be, y'all? Blue, yellow, light bluish gray. It's not. So they've got ham. They have Bo Peep, which it wouldn't be either of those. They have the Triceratops, the penguin. Who is blue, yellow, and light gray? There's Barbie and Ken. This is gonna bother me, y'all. I know it's got to be a very obvious one, but I just am not thinking of it. And in the other one, in the other set, we had Woody, Jesse, Bullseye, and Buzz. So it wouldn't be any of those, I don't think, because I would think they would do different ones for this one. Gosh, I don't know why I'm losing it here. Let's see. Is it in 30 Doors? Maybe. There's like a area that has a bunch of shops and things, and it's in the corner there. I can't remember. I can't remember who this character would be. Who is blue and yellow and light bluish gray? Is that like a deep cut that I'm missing? And I feel like I should know the deep cuts from Toy Story. Hector, I need your help. I need you to answer for me because I'm sure you know. I feel like you would know these things. What other characters? All right, we are getting, looks like a turn crank, and that's probably going to open and close this door, I assume. Blue, yellow, gray. Already on it. Okay, I was like, I'm sure you have to be looking it up, right? Help me out here. You've got to know. You've got to help us figure this out. I can't end this stream without knowing who all the references are. It might even be on the Lego website on the description about this. I might say like hidden references too, blah, 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 blah. But usually they don't spell out the Easter eggs in that way. So yeah, this is driving me nuts. All right. Okay, so this is going to go here. I looked up the characters, but it's not one of the main characters, right? Like, who is blue, yellow, and light bluish gray? And then the aqua, medium nugget, and bright pink, I feel like that's got to be Mrs. Potato Head. So you can see her there below the 4 aliens. And then, yeah, blue, yellow, light bluish gray. I wonder if it's a character from the new movie. And then we have the greens. Oh, so it goes right next to Rex, though. So, like, once we close this, Rex is here and sits right next to this blue, yellow, light bluish gray. So I don't know if that would be connected there, but I don't think it's the Triceratops, which I feel like is the character I would loosely associate with Rex. It's not Forky, because Forky is white and red. Okay, this next one has 3 pink. Oh, you know what? The blue, yellow, light bluish gray might be Woody, because the next has 3 pink stacked, and then it has white, lime green, and purple stacked, which obviously that's Buzz. So this maybe it's Woody? Woody is blue, yellow, not light bluish gray, though. Ugh. Come on, Lego. Why didn't you tell us in the instruction book? We need to know. Okay, so yeah, now we've got him and Buzz up there. There we go. Tricky. And then we do a white plate across the top, which I don't think is related to these characters. I love Easter eggs like this, though. And once we know what it's from, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, duh, of course. I feel like it'll be really obvious once we figure this one out. But Rocky, he looks like a muscle man. He has a light gray mask. Okay. Could be. Did he have blue pants and a yellow top, maybe? I'm trying to remember him. I remember him loosely, but not close enough to know what he looks like off the top of my head. This is a movie, too. Toy Story 3 and 4 are movies that I haven't watched very often. I think I've seen them both twice, maybe. Maybe Toy Story 3 I've seen a few more times than that, actually. Not sure what movie he's in. Yeah. Could be Rocky. That's, yeah. Oh, here are some more characters. We have Blue and we get 3 aliens. Okay, I know what those are. I think this is Jesse and Woody here. We get Blue, the nugget that's like Woody's hat, and black. So, whoops, that's green. Let me try this again. And where's Bo Peep in all of this? Blue, yellow, and light bluish gray wouldn't be Bo Peep, would it? I also think too, with a lot of these, you have to know one or two of them, but then you can piece together the others pretty easily. Okay, here are our next two friends. We've got blue, dark orange, and black, and then red, dark orange, and white. I think that is meant to be Woody and Jesse. I think. No, those are the potato heads. Wait. Y'all, this is just not working for me. Toy Story characters. Bo Peep is white and pink and yellow hair. I think the two that I just built are the two potato heads. They are, for sure, because Mrs. Potato Head has red shoes and a white hat. So these two that we just built are the potato heads. This is such important information, y'all. And then this one that's below the aliens, that is pink, dark pink on top, medium no good, and then aqua below, are wrong. We thought that was Mrs. Potato Head, but we were wrong. So that's got to be somebody else. Okay, here's Rocky Gibraltar. That might be Rocky, because yeah, blue, yellow, and the gray. Wow, there are so many characters. Light blue, medium no good, and pink, bright pink. I don't know, y'all. I don't want to see a list. I want to see pictures. That's not helpful. Yeah, I feel like these have to be obvious characters. It wouldn't make sense for them to be not obvious characters. Aliens. Marie Antoinette. Okay, we're gonna look up Andy's toys. Woody. Oh, this is like a lot of text. I can't read all this. Not right now. I am building. Okay, we are just gonna have to keep wondering. I'm pretty sure that that you were right about that being Rocky with the blue, yellow, and light bluish gray. What I don't know is this one that's Rocky's in the first three movies. Oh, cool. What I don't know is the aqua, medium nugget, and bright pink. That one is confusing to me. So if anyone can figure it out, that'd be great. It's very important information. Also, now we get three of these. I'm sure you know who this is. Ooh. I have been chosen. Farewell, my friends. I'm off to a better place. Okay. 3 aliens. Let's see. Looked up Santa Rita, and we might have been there if it's across the street from Seton on 38th. It is. I'm pretty sure that's where it is. So I'm glad to hear you've been there and that it's not just me. Okay, yeah, that's cute with the 3 aliens. Oh, you can't really see. Let's try that again. That's cute. And then, okay, this is great. On top of the 3 aliens goes the tile that I was wondering where it was going to go. So we get this stack that goes on top of the aliens with pizza. That's just perfect. So that's going to go here. Fun. And when you look from the side, you still see the aliens like holding up the pizza boxes. All right. And then we're going to build in some additional other colors that don't really matter for storytelling, but are fun for building out. Okay, now we get Bo Peep because she is white, light tan, and light pink. So this is definitely Bo Peep. And then more purple walls. Who is that? I wonder how many people have had this conversation already, or as they're building the set, will have the same conversation and wonder. Or if people in other streams or other builders, when they get around to building it, will know exactly what they are. I feel like I'm a big enough fan that how would I not know who some of those characters are? But yeah, Rocky did not cross my mind at all. And that... There is the doll, like the ragdoll type character that comes into play later on. So maybe it's that one. That's this light, bright pink, medium nugget, and aqua. I don't know. I just don't know, y'all. But that's okay. All right, so now that we have this, this is going to slide on. Okay, so that slid onto the rod piece that we have here. And then, this is fun. There's a lot more functionality to this than I was expecting there to be. We're gonna cap off on top of the Rex character to hold this rod in place. Go. I'm going to, neat. Okay. So you can see this attaches here. This red axle is going to slide into that green piece, and that's going to make it so that when this moves, it actually pulls on things, I think. So let's do that if I can. If I can get it to go through. Shoot. I might need both hands for this. Let's see. There we go. I'll use a brick separator to push it all the way in. All right, so all those things are connected now for that very detailed interior, which is weird. I didn't expect it to be that detailed. Silly me, what was I thinking? Of course it would be that detailed. It's Lego. It's Lego, for Pete's sake. All right. And now I'm just going to keep building towards me so you can't see it. Wait, did I miss something? I think I missed something because this should be the same height as this. What did I miss? Just a moment while I figure this out. Okay, I think there was supposed to be a plate in here way long ago that I missed. There we go. Slide that back on. So, ta-da. Get Rex back in there. There we go. And attach this. There we go. Okay, now it all matches up. Used to work at 38th and a half in I-35 area, so I wouldn't backtrack once I got home. That's fair. Makes sense. All right, let me jump forward again to where we were. Okay. All right, this is going to cover Bo Peep. And you can see on the inside, all of those characters, they're like getting all tucked away, all hidden in different directions. All right, now I'm going to get some pink details on the outside here. Just fun because it'll create those like pink stripes around the outside edge. And then we have a little bit more of those. So we're using cheese wedges again, which we used below for that like door that opens. We're using them up here at the top as well for the door that's going to open, I think. Whoops. So yeah, this is a much, much more complicated build than I was expecting it to be. But see that those cheese wedges across the top of that are going to make it so that that can open pretty seamlessly. Then all right. So this is a pretty cool build. I'm pretty impressed with the detail and structure of this in ways that like I wasn't expecting. Of course. Oh, this one I did wrong. Let's flip that. This is also where sometimes when I'm live streaming, I'll make mistakes because it's easy to miss a detail or two here and there. But I think I fixed that now. Looks like we have another army man up here at the top. So, all right. And then another army man over here on the other side. And some snot bricks sticking out here. So I'm thinking the last bag is going to be like the finishing details that add the paper and stuff to the book, like we kind of saw on the last one. I looked it up. The mystery one is a troll doll. Thank you. That makes sense. I forgot there was a troll doll in the series. Like completely forgot about that. But all right, now we have our wall where this little hidden compartment opens. So that's pretty cool. And then, and it's meant to open with the twist of this knob. Oh, okay, watch from the inside. When I twist the knob, you see how that platform raises and lowers? That's going to make it so that Woody pops out and then hides back in. That's cool. Okay. Kudos, Lego. All right, now let's build some pages. So this one is it twice as wide? Or it's a little bit wider than the other book, which will be interesting as we put all this on because that means that there's different math that goes into this one. Yeah, so that's the beginning of the pages here. Thank you. Thank you, Missy, for figuring that one out for us. That was a conundrum. It was driving me wild trying to figure that out. But the troll doll makes sense. I hadn't even thought about a troll. Okay. We are in the last bag. Final round of building here, y'all. Thank you for sticking it out this long with me. Looks like the pages go up that way. And then we get pages across the top. I love seeing these interior details right now of how this all works because it's so different than what I was expecting. All right, now we are going to build two of these next sections. Both sections use stickers for knick-knack. So you can see the stickers here have little stars on them. It's really hard to tell. There we go, on those bottom two stickers. So we're gonna get those on for one. And then we will also do the last sticker that says knick-knack. Yeah, let's get these on first. All right, one done. I just feel like I have to like be completely silent when I'm doing these. The nice thing with these two is that they're not going to be messed up because, you know, they may not be perfectly on for some people, but in doing that, having the stars ever so slightly off wouldn't be that big of a deal. I still want mine to be as perfect as possible, of course, but it's nice that you could mess it up a little bit and it not be a huge mistake. All right. So these details are going to be for the spine of the book. Y'all, I am so hungry now. Ever since we started thinking about food, I blame JJ for bringing up a barbecue. Also, I haven't had a good hamburger in a long time because when we were on vacation, actually, I had a hamburger there the very, very last night. And I said, I feel embarrassed ordering this because we're in France. I feel like I should be ordering French food. But everywhere we went, I had French food and it was amazing. And they said at this restaurant that they were known for their hamburger. So I was like, well, got to try it. And it was really good. It was, so yeah, that was a really good hamburger. It was my last day there. But it still feels like it's been a long time since I've had one. So. Tex-Mex is our staple, and we eat it all the time, probably more so than barbecue, just because we have such amazing Tex-Mex places all around us. And we get queso at nearly every single one. So for those who are from Austin, I would love to know, Missy and Bev, which restaurant has your favorite queso, which is a cheese dip for chips. All right, got the top and the bottom with that nice pink line all the way around. Really nice stripe. Now we will do the center portion. And we will do so adding in the knick-knack sticker. So the last one. So let me get that one on. You got a friend in me. When the road is up ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said, 'cause you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Done with the spine of the book. It says knick-knack, and I think it only says it this way, though. I had that upside down. Now, did I put that on right? I did. Okay, good. Done with stickers, so that's fun. Now, okay, this is like the easiest build step I've ever seen. Oh, Missy. Missy. You don't like queso. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think we can still be friends. I think so. I'm not going to eliminate the friendship because of that, but I am really surprised. That makes me very sad. Jean is streaming at the same time. Yay! Hi, Jean. Hi, Brandon. Good to see you. Is Jean doing the helmets? I saw that she was going to be working on those a little bit. Y'all, you know what would be fun? Is once we wrap up here, if everybody wants to head over to Jean's stream and we can say hello, just to raid her stream. That's something that I've only had happen to me once, but it was really sweet and fun and a nice surprise. If y'all would be willing to do that with me once we wrap up here, even if you just stay on for like a hot minute to say hello, that would be great. But let's not tell her that we're raiding it. Let's surprise her with that. I feel like going the opposite direction, there'd probably be many, many more people coming from her stream to mine, and that's okay. I don't need that, but it would be really fun to see if we can surprise her. So, let's see. All right, we are almost done with this. Maybe it's just the queso my dad makes that I don't like. I'm going to say that's what it is. I'm going to say that's what it is. You like queso at the house with Rotel and Velveeta. Okay, cool. We don't make our own queso all that often. We typically do, we go out to eat a lot for one, so that's part of it. But okay, what I love is you can open this up really easily to see the inner workings, which is really cool, the way this is built. And I think that's on purpose so that you can see all those hidden details. So that was a really neat approach, for sure. I like that because you can watch on the inside as you go up and down. So that's pretty sleek with this. But it's really interesting that like that build step was like pretty wild to just be like stack all these bricks directly up. So now we put on these little feet for the books. Oh, you also have to open it up to put Woody inside. That makes sense. So we put the feet on the bottom of the books like we did for the other one. And again, these little pieces of rubber are just to help so that it stays put, which I think is smart if you're using it as bookends because you want to have stability so the books don't fall over. All right. Now let's open this side up again. Let's seat down our friend, Woody's Roundup. And he's going to be seated like so, because that's what they suggest. So we got him seated in here like this. And then we're going to close this up. And now, this is cool. When we open this up, look what happens. Whee! That's really clever. Okay, kudos, Lego. You did a great job here. So we have a few options left. One thing is, okay, well, first off, it shows that we've got our Slinky dog and he's fully built, right? If you wanted to, you could stack these books. Let me show you that part first before we take them apart, because there's some hidden features and details that you can have in here. But actually, it's not even showing. So you can stack these up like so, and just have Slinky standing on them. Got to put the feet in a little bit, but let me hold him up. So that's one display option. Don't love that so much. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take Slinky apart. So we push these pieces apart. Oops. Come on. There's one side and the other. There we go. So it shows take these pieces apart. And then these bonus pieces that we have here that attach the other pieces here, when we open up the purple, where we had Woody, you can slide them in to this black Technic piece. So it's meant to hold those for you so you don't lose them, which I love. So that's going to go in here. So now you can see they're just like tucked away in there, which is real smart. Then we close this up and we take the head and we attach it. You see how there's the Technic pins in there? We attach it in like so. And we slide these to the right towards me. All right, now this is one bookend that faces this way. That's so cool. Then on the other side, we do the same thing. Like so. Oh my gosh. This is so cute, y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm obsessed with this. And what's fun is you can still open this and he pops out from the side And you could still pull open this drawer, which I'm going to turn this down for y'all to see. You can still pull open that drawer to have him in there as well. Y'all, it's so cool. That is so very fun. I love this so much. So let's do a quick roundup of the sets that we built this week. And then if y'all are with me for this, I'd love for you to hang on till the end of the stream so that we can all run over to Jean's stream and say hello, if you don't mind. And we're going to surprise her. So first off, Slinky Dog, super freaking cool. Let's pull this down. There we go. Super cool, Slinky. I love this so much. I think the wobbliness of the Slinky part is fantastic. Oops. Is a really fantastic detail. I think he really moves in all the right ways. I love the details of the pop-out little features where we get the minifigs that are in there. So we have Slinky over here. So clever. And I love that there's multiple ways that you can display this. So really, really well done. This is by far my favorite of the 3 sets. I want to say it's $150 US dollars. So it's a pricey one, but I think he's worth it. Yesterday, we built the lowest price one. Adorable. Absolutely adorable. I'm obsessed with our little friend here. He has the fun movement where his head can kind of go back and forth there. You can also adjust his eyebrows to be happy or sad. And I love how that makes a significant difference really easily. Plus, his legs pop off. You pop off the back of him. And hidden in the back, we have these 2 pieces that cover up those holes where he was seated to give him a fully fleshed out stomach. And then you can put the feet on again and put the back on again. And you have a fully realized standing tall little character. Plus he's got this little cane, which I thought was really, really fun. This one is $40. Come on. Hard to do right-handed and backwards. I'm left-handed, y'all. All right, there we go. So now he's got his cane. Oh my gosh, he's just too cute. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Pizza Planet rocket ship ride with our alien friend. So here's the 360 view that we have for him. This is the front of the vehicle. When you twist the little hand knob, he goes up and down, up and down. He pops out. So cute. Ooh. Really, really fun movement features. Can move that head up and down, can twist it around. The arms can go up and down a little bit and the hands can pose a little bit. And there is a nice little slice of pizza that doesn't really matter for this set, but that I love and think is adorable. Very, very great trio here. This one I want to say was $60 if I'm not mistaken. I would love to have 2 more of the aliens. So that's something I might end up pursuing. We'll see. And yesterday we talked about how Lotso is so cute and would be really fun to recolor. And also to maybe recolor and make into Care Bears, where you would make like a little mosaic for the stomach, which would be really cute. So I am a big fan. This has been such a fun Toy Story week. Thank you all so much for joining. And if you will join me in running over to Jean's stream, let me get the information for it real quick. And then I will give you some specific instructions on what we're going to do when we get in there. Sound good? All right, hang tight for just a second. Let me find Jean's version YouTube. We'll click here. And she is live right now. What we're going to do is we're going to copy the link here. I'm going to paste the link in our chat. I want everyone to go there, but don't say anything yet. And what you're going to do is click on this link, go to her stream, and then in the stream, when I say go, say build kindness. So use the hashtag build kindness and drop that in the chat and then say hi from BradyJoynerBricks stream. Okay. And say whatever lovely, kind things that you want to say to Jean. So everybody click on the link. And then when I tell you go, in the, in the chat, do hashtag build kindness. And when you're ready, or when I say go, okay. Let's see. Is everybody over there? It's interesting. Yeah. If you're over there, we're going to do on the count of 3, right? Build kindness in the chat. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yay. Okay, I wrote it, but nobody else did. So if you're in Jean's chat, yay, good stuff. Thanks, friends. Anybody else want to join too? Please do. Hi, friend. Hopping over from my stream where we just finished the Toy Story set. Quick, tiny raid from my friends who were streaming with me. Just finished. Or just finishing now. Okay, I'm going to log off of my stream. Yeah, we'll see you all again next Wednesday. Thanks again for joining. Thanks for crashing Jeans and saying hello there too. Good to see you all. Build kindness. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Wednesday.